And I remember Dead Space, the game Dead Space?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so good. I love Dead Space, right? I think it was the relaunch of Dead Space 2. And the PR team there at the time were like, look, we're going to invite people down to the Farnborough Centrifuge. You know, they test like the RAF pilots and that big arm that spins you?
Yeah.
Because it's like space related to a degree.
Yeah.
Man, ever since I did that thing, I went to like 5Gs and they were like, and the way you get out of like, because basically all the blood from your head goes to your feet. So you can't see when you're at that kind of level. You just remain conscious, right? This is a gaming event. This is it's a fun day out.
This sounds horrible.
Right, it was horrendous.
You know my background, I came from local telly, radio. I got one gig with the ESL UK event, and from there I just fell in love with it. Where did it start for you, Adam? What was the origin of your esports career?
My, I guess, journey into esports, if that's a thing. Journey into esports,
yeah,
that's a thing. It kind of began with I guess gaming entertainment, right? So I wanted to be a presenter, a host in some capacity. The Dermot O'Leary of gaming. That was my vibes. I wanted to do that, you know. And I got an opportunity at a company called Jinx TV, which is a kind of a new TV network that, you know, still exists today on Sky and such as well, where it's just like, you know, content based around games, you know, kind of like guides to things, that kind of stuff. And my kind of inroad there was writing scripts for like where these 4-minute 30-second segments that had to be 4-minute 30 seconds specifically for the channel, for like a contract they had. So you're writing, you know, bits about like, you know, the top clubs in Tiger Woods, like general stuff, and there's obviously fun things too. And then worked my way up to being a presenter in front of camera, doing the kind of things like, you know, kind of talking about favourite games and doing voiceover work and basically learning the craft. Also,
what year are we talking here?
Mate, we're talking
1972.
when I was 45. No. So 2010.
Yeah.
So 13 years been in gaming now. Were you alive then, Harrie?
I was.
Okay,
I was.
Yeah.
Tell me. So Jinx TV is someone that I don't think I ever watched Jinx TV. Was it specifically just about like gaming video games?
Yeah, well, the whole premise was, you remember that, I guess you might, MTV in the noughties and stuff, where MTV, kind of this group of presenters will come together, like kind of like, it feels very much like you're all together, like you are, I guess, a guild as well, you're all together in the same spot, making kind of organic content.
Okay.
Yeah. The same kind of vibe, like a presenting team, making different formats, different kind of magazine shows around games and stuff.
Okay.
So we had that kind of original kind of mindset, and we would just make stuff as and when about, you know, whether it be, I had a show on Challenge TV called Planet of the Apps, right?
Yeah.
A mobile show, so
Wow.
it's about mobile games and kind of mobile technology and stuff, and that was really cool.
Great name,
That is honestly fantastic.
And now will.i.am has stolen the same bloody name for a show that he's doing. I'm like, that there's got to be some kind of like copyright issue there.
What is it?
will.i.am's he's trading on my toes.
With apps? With like
I think it is.
apps?
I think it is.
What?
And if so, I need to call him.
That's really weird.
I don't know his number, but still, I need to find out how that's a thing.
So Jinx. Is that like, because I can't remember watching anything on TV that was specifically based around games.
Yeah,
It's like one of the first iterations of like a gaming show.
I think that Jinx TV, it was like, so let's be honest, TV it's not what it was
Falling
right now.
off.
Definitely not where it was.
It's not. But I think that it's like certain channels like picked up on, I guess, newer entities in the entertainment space and culture towards the back end of TV's successful run.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Jinx was like a bit of a pioneer, I think, for gaming, because that was before everything really moved to Twitch and online and whatever else, right? Is that accurate?
Well, yeah, because I think 2009 is when YouTube started. I think 2009 is YouTube origin kind of year time, and then that was so the digital platforms were kind of starting to become a thing online, and TV. I think the idea was that entertainment, there wasn't anywhere for it. I mean, there used to be a TV show in like the 90s a long time ago called Movies, Games and Videos. Yeah. What a show that was! What a show! There was Games Master, all these other kind of shows. These great shows, and I think that they were trying to do something similar, but I think there was that transition where people started to watch other things. But we tried, I guess at the channel we evolved with it. But me as a presenter, I kind of really grew in that time. So I was producing things. I started to do other things, like I started to work with a lot of popular YouTubers, hosting and producing like live events for big companies like Endemol and that kind of stuff. So I was working with the Dan TDMs and Ali A's and all sorts, which was great, and it kind of really helped me grow as a kind of knowing all kind of different facets of gaming. And esports kind of came into it, I think, probably about 2016, where I started doing, I think my first thing was like the Halo European Championships or something. And it was just, I had the skills, I guess, as a presenter to stand up on a stage and say things about gaming where there weren't a lot of us doing it at the time. But now Billy Big Time, Ian Chambers come on the scene. He takes all my work, so I hate you, mate. I hate you so much.
We went
so impressive, honestly.
Yeah.
I can't imagine wanting to go into, like, if someone tells me that I have to present something, that's like one of my worst nightmares. Or like stand up and host something.
You're so good at
Hosting
it,
a podcast, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, but if it's like, okay, this is like pre-recorded and I'm in a very comfortable environment. But if it's like live streamed in a place that I've like on like a TV channel or like, you know, a massive streaming service and I have to be the one running the show, that is like my worst nightmare. So the fact that people actively want to go into that and like want to do that is like, it's just so fascinating to me.
I think it's in your blood. I know it sounds weird, but like...
It must be.
Yeah, from a young age, like, when I was... my mum always brings it up, like, when we'd go to like a play at theatre or something when I was a kid, and you'd get to that point where someone on the stage would be like, okay, we want someone to come up, and I'd always be jumping up and down.
Really?
Like, I want that to be me.
Because I would be I'm like hands down, like sinking into my chair. Like, that's not...
I think you know what it is. I think we're similar as well, kind of come from that kind of... we didn't go straight into esports. Ian and I became kind of through like TV or whatnot and trying to get into it in that way. And we're on stages and you have all these people in front of you. And I think both really appreciate, we talked about this loads, by the way.
Yeah, we do.
About how we appreciate being there in front of like a live audience. And you're kind of looking out thinking, I'm so lucky to be in this position.
So you guys love being the centre of attention is what I'm hearing.
You know what it is?
My wife hates me for it because I do it at home as well. She hates me for it. So yeah.
I think for me, it's more about like, I just love the pressure.
Really?
Yeah, like I was thinking the other day, like we've done some big events, and there's a big one coming up in Japan that we're actually working together.
Come on.
Come on.
I want to go. Can I
We're going to Tokyo to get that
+1 invite?
Do you know how rare that is, though? That two good mates as we are to go and work in the same show in the same kind of capacity, in somewhere like Japan, like that's
crazy.
That is absolutely.
What
amazing.
is that for again? Are you allowed to say what it's for, or is it top secret?
I think we can say what it's for.
Yeah, it's Red Bull home ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tokyo. So it's Valorant. So
huge off-season Valorant event.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be crazy.
I was in Manchester last December for like the kind of Manchester home ground, and it goes from Manchester to Tokyo, Japan. It's quite neat.
Quite
Manchester's all right.
I know where
Manchester's great.
Yeah, but it's not Tokyo.
But it's not Tokyo. Let's be honest.
So it's like that. Sometimes I'll sit and I'll think, you'll do an event, or sometimes beforehand, and this might freak you out, but for me, it gets me going, right?
Okay.
So I'll think about the budget for the entire event.
Okay.
The production team that's been brought in for the entire event, all the players that are getting flown out, the stakes, the magnitude of it all, and just the overall cost of what it's going to take to put this event on. And then when it kicks off, the red light's on, it all starts on some kid from Hull. And it's like, that's a lot of pressure.
Sounds like my worst nightmare.
You've got to be the one to deliver the product to the audience and make sure it all makes sense and whatever else. And I sit there and I think, I don't want to swear, but let's have it.
I bet you feel like a superstar afterwards, or like during the process. You probably do feel like, oh, I'm quite cool. Like this is happening because of me.
It's weird. I mean, I don't know if because you sweat pressure, right? With like being in front of the camera and having things, particularly in like live situations. I've had to, obviously, not just esports, but I've been lucky to work. Like, I worked for ITN doing red carpets for a while. Red carpets, interviewing celebrities on the red carpet. I worked with like doing Comic-Cons and having panels with like major like A-listers, stars you're kind of interviewing in front of a live audience. Yeah, there's that added pressure as well. But like with Ian, I think there is, when you're kind of fully in command of something, and it's you to tell the audience something, and you're completely in control of of your destiny, if you will, like running the show. I take a bit of comfort in that. I don't kind of find it as kind of it's kind of because I know that what I do for a job is and that's my role. Yeah, and they've hired me to do this job because I can do it competently. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. They have faith in me. This is good.
A lot of the time, are you like reading your script off a Telecaster, or is it just off the top of your head?
So there's two different. I mean, it all depends on the production company. So like there'll be certain ones where there is an auto cue, and I've got a lot of experience. This has become a podcast about us, but
I think it's interesting to hear about, because a lot of people wouldn't really understand like what kind of work goes into it, or like So I imagine a lot of people are like me, where they think, oh my God, that's my worst fear, like going up and having to host something on stage in front of thousands of people. It sounds terrifying.
So I used to use autocue every day when I worked in local TV. And when I first did it, I would trip over every single line that came up, and it was horrendous. I used to do sports bulletins that would take me, it'd be a 30-second record, and it'd take me an hour because I just couldn't get through it. It was
really
awful. Yeah, this is at the very beginning of my career.
Was it your breathing through it? Because it's like breathing. Like, do you know what I mean?
If I tripped on one word, I'd say start again. Whereas now, do you know what I mean? I was too much of a perfectionist at the very beginning.
That's what I would be scared of, like tripping over my words. If I was doing it live, there's no pre-record. Like you can't just cut it out. You've just said. You've stuttered.
But then like there's events now where if there's auto cue, I'm like, this is great. But then I prefer without. So like when I did the 6 Invitational in Montreal this year, like the entire thing was just I wrote the script having breakfast the morning of. God. And then when I went out there, I just thought, I don't need it. I'll just go out and see what happens. And I just went out and said what I wanted to say. Because like, it's such a weird feeling. Like, I remember there's like a countdown in your ear and I've got like 3 seconds before I step out and it's like a sold out crowd in this big hockey arena in Montreal. And like, there's an orchestra that's just finishing the final moments of like the violins and stuff. And the director goes, Ian, you ready? And cue. And for a moment, I'm like, oh, have I got this? I don't know if I've got this. And I go, oh, yeah, I've got this. And I just go out. And it's just, and then from that point, it's like,
Do you like roller coasters?
I love roller coasters.
Do you like roller coasters?
Yeah, but I'm crap with motion now. I don't know what it is. I think a long time ago, there was a gaming event. You see a lot more gaming events, right? So like a game would come out. And I remember Dead Space, the game Dead Space?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so good. I love Dead Space, right? I think it was the relaunch of Dead Space 2. And the PR team there at the time were like, look, we're going to invite people down to the Farnborough Centrifuge. You know, where they test like the RAF pilots and that big arm that spins you?
Yeah.
Because it's like space related to a degree.
Yeah.
Man, ever since I did that thing, I went to like 5Gs and they were like, and the way you get out of like, because basically all the blood from your head goes to your feet. So you can't see when you're at that kind of level. You just remain conscious, right? This is a gaming event. It's a fun day out.
This sounds horrible.
Right, it was horrendous. And they're like,
never been the same since.
No, but this is it. They say to you, when your blood goes from your eyes and you can't see and it goes completely dark, squeeze your feet and rush the blood back to your eyes again. I thought, this doesn't sound like I should be here doing this.
Oh my God.
But so, and ever since that, like I did that. And obviously I think pilots, I don't know what it is, but I think because I'm quite a tall person, the blood took a long time to get back to the eyes, right? I don't know what it is.
You had bloodless eyes.
I haven't been the same since. But I think I rushed it back and I was fine. But I was sick for days. Ever since that, that is the moment I cut off saying, ever since that, I am terrible with roller coasters, plane journeys, cars, motion wrecks me. So to answer your question, not great with roller coasters.
And you're on planes a lot.
I'm wondering if it's like an adrenaline thing. Like, do you guys feel a rush of adrenaline when you're about to go on stage and host like a big event?
Yeah, I do.